Good day, everyone. This is Christine again. It is now March 1st, 2023. As I've told you in previous videos, Sylvia Bigara, who's the president of the Lower Town Association, she has been talking to many reporters while I was in the hospital and all from all across Canada, both in French and English, on our horrific situation here down in Lower Town. And I picked up a hard copy that I wish to read to you that came out by her as well as our councillor for the ward, Sylvia Plante. It's called, "To Save Lower Town, Ottawa Council Must Change Its Approach. Vanier and the Byward Market shouldn't be the only areas of town offering major shelters and social services for mental illness, addiction, and homelessness." Sylvia Bigara has lived in Lower Town for decades and seen it gradually turn into ground zero for the social services no other city neighborhood wants. The problem is getting worse, and she believes services must be decentralized or Ottawa's oldest neighborhood will turn into a ghetto. Bigara says the city has packed Lower Town with shelters and services for people who suffer from everything from mental illness to addiction and homelessness, as if they all live downtown. In fact, such vulnerable people come from all over the city, and Lower Town should not be made to carry the burden alone. "I've lived here for 40 years, and we've become a dumping ground for social services," said Bigara, the local community association president. "We are on our way to becoming Vancouver's downtown east side. We don't want to create a ghetto downtown." Bigara says the social service system is broken because the way services are delivered is not helping anyone. She says people with a variety of problems, drug addiction, alcoholism, mental illness, poverty, are lumped together in shelters, and the cycle keeps repeating itself. What the city needs, she believes, is a new policy that requires a small shelter in every ward to serve people where they live. "You have to take people out of mega shelters and put them in small centers that cater to their needs," Bigara says. She is right. Over the years, vulnerable people have become trapped in a never-ending cycle of poverty, drug addiction, alcoholism, mental illness with no hope of escape. Shelters perform a great service, giving people temporary relief and a place to lay their heads. And no doubt the people who work in the shelters are a selfless and dedicated bunch, but they have a concentration of shelters and their attendant problems is in one spot. Combined with the proliferation of bars and easy access to alcohol, has turned Lower Town Byward Market into a high crime area. It is a problem Rideau Vanier councillor Stephanie Plante wants addressed. Plante said her ward, which stretches from the market into Vanier, is overrun with shelters, with 12 of them and 2 hotels that serve a similar function. She doesn't understand why Rideau Vanier is bearing the heavy load while other wards contribute nothing. She says Ottawa public health data shows that many opioid overdoses occur on construction sites in the suburbs. So why are we concentrating overdose prevention in the downtown core? A report by the Ontario Drug Policy Research Network did find that among people who died of opioid toxicity, 1/3 of them work in the construction industry. Plante says big cities are decentralizing their shelter services, and Ottawa should do the same. Shelters must not only be spread around. The city should, as a matter of policy, move away from shelters and offer supportive housing. That's why she wants the Salvation Army to rethink its mega shelter plan for Vanier. Plante says that she has spoken to Mayor Mark Sutcliffe, who supports the idea of decentralizing shelters, and she's hoping council will take up the issue. Bigara and Plante are right to question why Lower Town is saturated with shelters and why the city continues to approve new projects such as the Vanier mega shelter. Shelters do a good job, but they are essentially a band-aid. What street people who are struggling with assorted problems need is the dignity of a home from which they can access the right help. That's why affordable housing is so critical. The problem is that over the years, non-urban councillors have been reluctant to acknowledge that homeless, addiction, and mental illness are citywide issues they must confront. They see this as a downtown issue. But residents of Canada, Barrhaven, Orleans, or Riverside South are just as vulnerable to addiction or mental illness as anyone downtown. Sutcliffe promised a new police station in the Byward Market, but so far hasn't provided funding. Perhaps a better approach is to examine why the area is such a magnet for crime. The long-term solution may well lie in rethinking the city's entire lower town policy. And like I said, this came out on February the 16th in the Ottawa Citizen here. And if you had heard us at the meeting, and all the delegates from the other wards around us are experiencing the violence, the high crime, knives are being pulled, people are being assaulted in the Rideau Centre included. We were hearing from all the business community that their employers were being assaulted, harassed in many different ways. They were having to pick up when people defecated on their properties, including in Sandy Hill. It's quite a problem. We don't know what to do. There's so many people walking around, the homeless now, I'm noting, that are walking around with knives hidden. They're scared for their lives as well. It's become an extremely large problem down here. And I hope, as stated, that from what I heard, that the community service there is going to be coming. The community service is going to be coming to the Byward Market. I sincerely hope so, because community policing is the way to go. It will help to settle down the area, because the community officers should be walking, not just patrolling in the patrol cars, especially during the winter. They cannot see a lot, and even during the summer. The bicycle patrol is great up to a point that does see more, but it's the officers who are on the beat walking that see much more of what's going on. And hopefully you'll be able to step in and defuse situations before they get out of hand. So this community policing is, like I said, I will have a segment on that, because I've seen this in action many years ago with my one of my former husbands being a police officer. I know how it works, and it is successful in its own way. But we are experiencing terrible things, as I've said, and what I was saying, they extended what I was saying in my presentation of what they were seeing as well. So it was very horrific. I don't know if it was recorded at all from City Hall, but I'm hoping that if it is online, people will also hop online and see that as well. So this is what I'm just going to report today. It's been a very long pandemic, as we all know. And I'm also going to give a timeline later as to what I was seeing through the pandemic and everything else to everyone, and how this has come about. I think it will give people a better idea of what I was seeing during the pandemic. And just prior to the pandemic, it was just starting to get bad, but then it's got to the point where it's, I call it like you have a pot of water on the stove, and you turn it on simmer, and then you turn it up, and it's to the boiling point. But right now, the pot of water down here is just totally boiling right over. We are in serious trouble down here. But this is what I'm going to say for today, and thank you for listening. And keep posted. I will give you more updates as they come, and there's still a lot more to come. So please keep watching, and I hope you are more informed through my videos. I know that the city councillor and people who are watching my videos are being more informed of what's going on, because I'm in ground zero right now, is where I have to live, and it's not pleasant to have to live in ground zero. So thank you, and please tune in again. Thank you.